And now for the broader stories for today. Now, first off, the Chinese regime has a program that gives cash prizes to report on your neighbors for their religious activities. A report from Bitter Winter, which focuses on human rights violations in China, reported that the CCP is offering awards of up to 100,000 yuan, or about $14,000, for reporting on activities of people who practice any form of a list of over 20 religions that are persecuted in China. This includes Falun Gong practitioners and several house Christian groups. It notes that the religions are suppressed in China and labeled as cults by the regime because they, quote, refuse to be controlled by the CCP, grow rapidly, and have a large number of members, which imposes a threat to the CCP and makes it uneasy. People who practice these religions face imprisonment, torture, re-education through labor, which is a mix of brainwashing and slave labor, and risk being subjected to the regime's market of live organ harvesting. The new directive from the Communist Party details measures to enhance its abuses of these individuals. Issues people can get rewards for when it comes to reporting on religious believers includes if they see people handing out leaflets or pictures, hanging up religious banners, or for publishing and printing books that preach religion, among other issues that are considered crimes by the CCP. As part of rolling out its new campaign that rewards people for helping persecute religions, Bitter Winter notes that authorities with the Chinese Communist Party's Religious Affairs Bureau have been holding events in parks and other places in China. One of these events shows CCP propaganda with slogans including, quote, "Don't believe in any religion other than the Communist Party. It's enough to believe in the party and the People's Government of China." And slogans also including, quote, "Those who report religious believers will discover they will be rewarded." Now, some of the broader context on this. The Chinese Communist Party has been doing this since it took power. The CCP used similar methods to destroy targeted groups during the Cultural Revolution. That was one of its campaigns to destroy Chinese traditional culture when it again was establishing power. Among its targets were any religious believers in the country, Buddhists, Taoists, you name it. They would take the abbots of these religions, torture them, kill them, you name it, imprison them. And also the Chinese Communist Party, after doing that, established state-run versions of the religions, like the China Buddha Association, which the CCP runs and works as an approved altered version of the religion. And when it comes to the Chinese Communist Party's practice of, say, offering rewards to individual Chinese citizens for reporting on their neighbors or for doing similar things, the effect of this is that the Chinese Communist Party expands the scope of these persecutions to the entire society. It's not just Chinese Communist Party authorities carrying out the abuses, it is your neighbor, it's the guy down the street, it's the person who, passes by you on the road as you're handing out a flyer when it comes to religious believers. And so the Chinese Communist Party, through this method, makes it a whole-of-society persecution. And by doing so, they make it a cultural issue. And again, this new campaign ties to one of the big issues we see being discussed among Chinese Communist Party leaders right now when it comes to their proposals on how to keep the party going. Among these is to lock down the borders, basically keep currency circulating internally inside China, to again launch purges within the party itself, and to again start something similar to the Cultural Revolution. We see all of these things starting to take place. And this is an example of that, again, in the seeding process of starting again.